Aloha and welcome to another episode of Cape and Cowl Unlimited, the place for everything superhero and all that's awesome in between. I'm your host Alex Burns, and today I'm joined with Franco Dionysio.
Hello.
How's it going, man?
Good, thank you. Very
excellent, good. Excellent. Today we're talking about Indiana Jones 5. It's coming at you, man. Whether you want it or not, Disney are going for it. Yeah. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, pretty good. Everyone loves Indy. I think, really looking forward to it. I think we'll forget about the last film. Most people will want to.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Kingdom of the Crystal, yeah. But I think most people will probably be quite excited and positive about this one, definitely.
Yeah, I know. For me, I'm just like, I love this guy. Like, Raiders of the Lost Ark is like one of my all-time favourite movies, if not my all-time favourite movie. So the idea of just getting another adventure like that is definitely something I'm excited about. Of course, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, we've been burnt before, so I'm a little bit cautious this time. I almost like leave it alone, stop kicking him while he's dead at the moment. Because I think for a lot of people, especially sort of my age, who, that was the only Indy they've seen, and that's not a good thing. They're left with Shia LaBeouf monkey swinging through the jungle.
I hear it's not a very popular scene in the film. I mean, there was some good bits in that film. That there were some good Indiana Jones moments, here and there. But I think overall it was there were too many people in it, and the story just wasn't on par with the other films.
The size of the cast was too big.
Yeah, too big. I think they tried to fit sort of too many current stars in, and it should just be about him and his sidekick and maybe a love interest.
It was good having Karen Allen back. I just feel like maybe it was because it was so different in terms of the other indie films, because it was trying to tie loose ends up while telling an adventure story.
Yeah.
And what we want really from this new indie film is just an almost Temple of Doom thing, where like a day in the life of Indiana Jones, where he's just
straight up adventure. Yeah, definitely.
It'd be perfect. Okay, so the good thing is Harrison Ford's back.
So he loves doing it. Apparently, he loves doing it. So
Steven Spielberg, presume John Williams might come back to score it as well, which would be great.
Hopefully,
you can't mess too much with a classic, but you always want the sort of when
they need John Williams back,
when they've got lightning in a bottle, you don't want to start opening it up, and bringing in other things. So. But I mean, what do you think's Harrison Ford's factor in making this decision? Han Solo now back in Indy.
Well, they've done a fantastic job in the Star Wars film with showing that you can have a film just about a older guy. I don't know. I think like I said, he just likes the character. He's always said he would do another one.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think it was probably not a hard decision for him. Story must be good.
And, well, naturally, something that's going to come up is, he said goodbye to Han Solo. Is he going to say goodbye to Indiana Jones now? What hole is he going to fall down or get blown up? Do you know what I mean? That's my concern now.
I mean, maybe not. Maybe he will just retire and die of natural causes.
No. Snake bite.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm curious to see like what this story is going to be. I mean, when you've got it's the same creative team coming back. So Kathleen Kennedy, Frank Marshall, everything like that. It's all coming back. So fans can get behind this. It's got that Star Wars vibe to it, where back to what it was. And the concern is, back to what it was. But those guys were involved in Crystal Skull, to Spielberg and that, and that's your concern there. What do you want to see from the original brought back? Anything new that you want to bring in at all, or with regards to Crystal Skull, are they just cut it off? Do you know what I mean? Forget about it.
I think for a lot of people, if you can, like I said, there was a lot of unnecessary, kind of characters in that we maybe don't need to see where they are now.
Specifically.
Well, the elephant in the room, obviously, Shia LaBeouf.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Just cut the cord, guys. Forget about him.
I mean, are they going to introduce a new kind of generation of the Joneses in this?
That just sounds funny.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully not, but, we'll see. I mean...
Grandkids.
We'll see. Skip a generation. And let's just go with the grandkids.
Remember when your dad fell down that hole and now it's me looking after my grandkid? That'd be kind of crazy. But
I mean, or is this, obviously, are we going to have somebody else playing the same role? Are we going to go back?
I'd be totally down for that. And then that gives you the idea, because Shia LaBeouf, whatever you think of the guy, is not really a lot of people's favourite choice. I don't think, anything sort of hanging on from Crystal Skull. He gets a lot of flack, whether he deserves it or not. He's sort of associated with that movie and being a bad element of that film that no one is clamouring to see any more of.
No.
So if you recast him, and then you've got a guy going forward, you know, for Indiana Jones Jr. or whatever, you know, they decide to do after this movie, I think that could be a way to go. But yeah, kill off, recast, I don't care. Just like no Shia LaBeouf, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, to be honest with you,
it'll be crazy. But in terms of like what we do want to see in this movie, like, is there anything that's screaming out like you want the Holy Grail, you know, to come back in? Nazis. Why don't they just do the de-age thing, man, and just, you know, go back? Like, technology is there.
I think at the time they aged him slightly for like the last one.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Because I mean, was that the last one they were going to make? I'm not sure, but yeah, I mean, they could go back. I think they could go back, because when we saw young Indy at the start of like the Last Crusade, it didn't bother anyone.
No, it didn't.
No one cared that it was, you know, sort of somebody else. But now there's that whole thing of like who's going to, you know, sort of do that role. But I think if they go back, you know, rather than trying to carry on where he is now, or maybe an adventure before sort of Raiders of the Lost Ark,
it'll be weird. It's the timeline thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, it's the same thing with Han Solo. You know, you associate these guys so much with Harrison Ford and everything, and it's like eventually you're going to have the new Harrison Ford, who's, you know, and you know, we've said it before, kind of Chris Pratt is doing that kind of thing with Star-Lord. You know, like Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. There's these actors that are so like iconic within their action role that it's a tender subject, because these characters mean so much to people as well.
Yeah.
So where do you broach that? Where does it become appropriate? I think they've got a real job in figuring out where to go. Do you think? I mean, is George Lucas involved? Do we know at this point?
Wouldn't have thought so. No, I mean, he sold the farm.
Yeah.
You know, so this film. I mean, this film it must be. It's there to set the road for what like the future is. So it'll be very interesting to see where they go with it. You know, maybe they find a time machine. Indiana Jones and they've lost, you know,
time machine.
Yeah.
I don't want it to go down that science fiction route again. I know psychic beings or whatever. All I'm going to say is there's a giant spaceship at the end of that movie, and that didn't sit well with me. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull didn't sit with me well at all.
Not at all. No.
So, you know, he's always been about tackling the supernatural for me, and almost what you perceive as gods on Earth. And I know aliens can come into that conversation, civilizations ago, blah blah blah, pyramids, blah blah blah, all that sort of rubbish. But he's always sort of, for me, against the occult. You know, that's why I really dig Temple of Doom. You know, just because you know, the whole heart thing is a darker movie, but Raiders as well, man. How scary is the arc at the end? You know, there's just some things are just not to be trifled with. That's what I like about it.
Earthly things, and like I said, in kind of Crystal Skull, it just kind of took that one step kind of too far, I think. And, you know, like I said, they've obviously learned by that mistake. And
have they?
I think we'll see a good indie film again, I mean, like, Harrison Ford has still got it, definitely. So, you know.
We've seen that in Star Wars. He's definitely got the chops,
he can play those roles when he wants to.
Yeah. Because all the clickbait that's coming out now is, he's too old, you know, like, the film's out in 2019, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like... No, that's not an issue these days. You know, he broke his leg and whatever when he was filming Star Wars. The guy's fine. That's what money does for you, man. That's money and yoga or whatever.
That's it. Yeah. Nothing that a computer can't fix these days.
Oh, brilliant! Anyway, I mean, I would like to see them explore that. You know, Michael Douglas and Ant-Man. Yeah. When he looked, did anyone question that? It was like Gordon Gekko just walked into the room. You know, it was brilliant. It goes back to it's Harrison Ford, man. And he's back, and he seems happier than ever for some weird reason. He's been, you know, had that grump reputation for the last sort of couple of years, long time, you know. And now he just, you know, he's making these films.
His kids, I think, have said, you know, kind of wake up, Dad. People love these heroes you play. You know, let's get, you know, sort of back on with it again. And Indy is the other guy that everyone loves. You know.
Yeah, and we're saying so we don't want too much sentimentality. We don't want too much like feeling like they have to wrap up this story, because it is, you know, ever since like George Lucas sort of came up with the notion, he was always on about episodic. Do you know what I mean? Like Saturday morning sort of serialized, you know, things that just kind of happen. Another adventure with this guy, you know, and that's that's what they got to do. And I think, again,
like you said, I think it just needs to be like a day in the life, just another adventure. It doesn't even have to be kind of connected to anything else that's sort of going on. That's like the beauty of these films.
And especially in a day where kids are growing up with the Uncharted franchise, you know, it's just taken it to another level. It's inspired so much by Indiana Jones, and I think, again, I love that. You know, just a huge fan of these type of adventure stories. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful games, beautiful movies. They expect a bit more, in terms of grandiose, and we've touched on it a little when we've spoken in sort of like the pub before. But like, do we want to see Indy in Atlantis, or like a Shangri-La, all that sort of El Dorado, a small item versus a big sort of thing? Because I think it got a bit too big at the end of Kingdom, even though it was set in that sort of realistic environment. The whole hidden underground lair, they kind of went with it.
No, I mean, like I said, we just want him going after something for the museum.
That's where it belongs.
Have some chases and some comedy, and maybe some romance along the way. Just all those kind of classic ingredients for a Sunday afternoon adventure film.
Because that's what it comes down to, doesn't it? When you've got these movies on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever, that's where they stay with you at home, and it's something that you want to put on to go on an adventure. It's not one of these sort of Oscar-winning, you watch it once, it was amazing, you never go back to it. Indy is just he's part of people's lives.
Absolutely.
So, guys, we're super excited to see Indiana Jones back on the big screen. It's July 2019.
We're hearing.
Could conflict with a few Marvel-themed releases. I think Inhumans is out around that time as well.
It's all owned by Disney, so I'm sure they've got it.
They'll figure it out. They're not going to stitch themselves up. Do you know, you might start getting that now that Disney's got so many little properties. They might all start like having little turf wars going in Disneyland. Like, you stick to the Marvel side of things, and this is Indiana Jones land. Be pretty exciting. But guys, we're looking forward to it. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. For more on Indiana Jones 5, check out capeandcow.co.uk. Drop us a like and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts on the movie. Drop us a comment as well. Until then, we'll see you next week for another episode of Cape and Cow Unlimited. I'm Alex. This is Franco. We're out. Bye-bye.